Driving a connected car today is just awesome. I mean, there's so many things we can do in our cars today that were impossible just 30 years ago. For example, you can stream your favorite movies or songs and even go from point A to point B with your GPS navigation, and you don't have to think about that. With technology moving so fast, connected cars will definitely keep changing how we travel. But these advancements are incredible, but they also turn our cars into hubs that collect a lot of personal information about you and I, and that's not necessarily good.
Technology in cars these days collects information about you, the road you take, even the way you drive. So what actually happens to all that data and how is it used? Well, as it turns out, it's often the automaker, not you, the owner.
The Federal Trade Commission, also known as the FTC, warned car companies that it is closely watching their illegal data collection and sharing practices, especially in connected cars. The FTC said that it will step in to protect consumers and stop any illegal handling of personal data. I'll get into the specifics of the FTC's actions in a bit, but for now, you should know that this warning came after some alarming reports about General Motors sharing drivers' data with insurance companies, especially without their consent. If you recall, we covered this in our GM Laws video. To recap that video, the 4 ways that your car collects information on you are: number 1, through the car's infotainment system. It's the control center for your car's information and entertainment. Once you connect your phone to it, your data will be immediately collected. Number 2, through the driving apps like GM's OnStar. These apps gather data when you sign up or when you use the in-car GPS. Number 3, through the car sensor. They collect more complex data like stress levels, weather, and road surface conditions. And finally, number 4, through cameras. Some connected cars collect data such as images, biometrics through cameras used for facial recognition. While companies collect and share data with user consent, the real issue is how they get that consent. Many companies use tactics that are considered maybe misleading. For example, they create privacy policies that are excessively long, filled with legal jargon, and very confusing. This makes it difficult for an average person like you and I to understand what data is being collected, used, or shared. So, why do car companies collect drivers' information in the first place? One reason is to improve vehicle safety and performance. If you are driving and you are distracted or sleeping, the camera will use eye tracking to detect this and send you alerts to pay attention on the road. Connected cars can also use car GPS to track your driving speed. If you're going over the speed limit, for example, it will warn you to slow down. As you can see, there are definitely benefits to car companies collecting and using your data. But the flip side of this is that they also collect your data to make money from selling it. Data brokers like Verisk and LexisNexis buy your data from car companies. Then they use this to analyze and provide detailed analytics on your driving behavior. Then they sell this driving behavior data to insurance companies who then use it to hike up your insurance rate or determine your coverage eligibility. Information shared with data brokers can also be sold to other entities, including marketing agencies, employers, or even government agencies.
Are you serious? Ugh.
Car companies are making huge profits from selling drivers' data. Market research from Model Intelligence estimates that our data monetization would exceed $2 billion by 2029. Barbara Wixom and Leslie Owens, both from MIT, found that high-performing businesses that monetize their data generate 10% more overall revenue. So, we know that data is valuable to car companies, but the thing is, data monetization isn't just unique to car companies. We now live in a world dominated by surveillance capitalism. Shoshana Zuboff, a professor at Harvard Business School, coined this term. In her book, also titled Surveillance Capitalism, Zuboff explains how Silicon Valley and other businesses collect information to predict and influence user behavior. She defines it: surveillance capitalism involves claiming private personal data as free raw material, which is then turned into behavioral data. This data is computed, packaged into prediction products, and then sold to businesses as a customer. Zuboff also stressed that this form of capitalism has spread beyond tech companies, infiltrating every economic sector, including education, healthcare, finance, and of course, the auto industry. The troubling part, though, is it's almost impossible to live in a society today without engaging any sector that's not involved in surveillance capitalism. The first is data breaches. With car companies collecting and sharing your information, you are at a high risk of being affected by a breach. According to GitLab, 79% of car companies have already been compromised within the past 2 years. So what exactly is causing these car companies to be breached? Well, nearly 90% of company executives believe that their cybersecurity practices don't keep up with evolving technologies. What's worse is that 35% of car companies don't have security operations centers, which is pretty much essential for detecting, responding to, and preventing cybersecurity threats. One notable example is Volkswagen. In 2021, over 3 million Volkswagen customers were impacted by data breach that caused by a vendor. The breach left Volkswagen sales and marketing data unsecured and exposed for 21 months. The compromised customer data included names, email addresses, phone numbers, and vehicle identification numbers. Another car company that was affected by data breach is Nissan. In 2023, Nissan Oceana detected unauthorized access to its servers, which affected over 100,000 people. Nissan stated that while the compromised data varied for each individual, it could include official identification details and personal information. About 10% of those individuals had their government identification stolen, and affected data sets included Medicaid cards, driver's licenses, and passport and tax filing numbers. In these two cases, we can see how vulnerable car companies are, and when cars collect your data, it puts you at risk. And that leads us to the second problem, privacy invasion. Once your car data gets breached, bad actors can use it to target you. If they have your email address or phone number, they can use them to send you phishing emails or scam calls. With your login credentials, they can access your bank account, credit card account, or investment accounts. If they happen to have your government information like your Medicaid card or social security number, they can also claim your government benefits. These are just some examples of what cybercriminals could do with your breached car data. According to a 2021 automotive cybersecurity report by Upstream, attacks on car companies have resulted in car theft, unauthorized controls of systems, fraud, and location tracking. Besides issuing warnings to car companies, the FTC has taken significant steps to protect drivers' data. Through its rulemaking authority under the FTC Act, it declared that unauthorized collection, use, and disclosure of geolocation data is illegal. In the past, the FTC went after Xmode, a data location data broker. Xmode sold sensitive location data without getting proper consent, had no policies to delete sold location data, and allow tracking of people's exact movements. In 2024, the FTC issued a final order prohibiting Xmode and its successor, OutLogic, from sharing and selling sensitive location data. Similar actions were taken against InMarket Media, a data aggregator and marketing agency. The FTC prohibited the company from selling or licensing user location information. Now, let's look at what lawmakers are doing. California Senate Bill number 296 took effect in 2023. This bill mandates that automakers disclose cameras in the car and offer users the option to withdraw their consent from data sharing and retention practices. In 2024, New Jersey enacted a new law requiring companies to inform consumers about data collection and disclosure. This law requires businesses to categorize the information they collect and identify third parties with whom they may be sharing this data with. The state of New York introduced Senate Bill 7014, which requires companies to provide vehicle owners access to their motor vehicle data free of charge and without delay. Besides the state-level regulation, the Biden administration has opened an investigation into data privacy and national security risks posed by Chinese-made cars. Given the geopolitical tensions and historical concerns surrounding China and Chinese technology companies, addressing these risks has become a top national security priority. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo stressed that these vehicles are connected to the internet and collect a lot of sensitive data. It's easy to see how a foreign adversary like China with access to this information could threaten our national security and the privacy of U.S. citizens. She also pointed out that these connected cars could be remotely controlled or manipulated by malicious actors. One way to protect yourself is to remove your personal information from the internet, and here's how. Visit www.mydataremoval.com and run the free scan to see where your data is showing up online. Use the free opt-out guides to remove your exposed data. Just follow steps and check the list of data brokers and people search sites that might actually have your data. Another way to protect yourself is to use the free Vehicle Privacy Report. This tool gives car owners access to privacy facts about their cars. All you need to do is enter your vehicle identification number or your VIN number. Then you receive your privacy report, which looks like this. In this report, you might see a label saying this car is a hard drive on wheels, which indicates that your car stores a lot of personal data. Also, you learn 1. What kinds of data your car collects and who your car manufacturer shares that data with. 2. The apps and services your car uses. And 3. The available privacy protections and some tips on what you can do to protect it. There you have it, folks. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments, and of course, subscribe. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.